Hello everybody, today I have another video for you all. Hooray! And today I have quite the treat, at least for me. So I recently acquired Studio Series 51 Soundwave. And now this is a figure I've wanted for a long time. And also, if you didn't know, I also have the other Soundwave. I forgot what number, like 62 or something like that. Um, yeah, so I've had this figure for a long time, and I've always wanted this one. And when I had learned that they were re-releasing some of their older Studio Series figures, and this was among them, I was pretty excited. I thought this one was more of a rumor because it was like the other some of the other ones were more revealed than this one. But yeah, now that this one was re-released, not only just re-released, but also in its original box and packaging, like it's none of the newer stuff. I've already opened it because you can see a Laserbeak falling out, and also the top is opened. Forget the new packaging. This old packaging was way nicer. You have the character in the bottom with the number, and then you have the name, Studio Series, and then you have like the movie name right alongside. And then you have this nice big window with plastic to protect it so you can't get in. But anyways, let's just get into the figure. Here we have 51 Soundwave out of the box, and when you first get him out of the box, he is like a really nice feeling figure. All the joints feel pretty good. This background is just the kind of desert wasteland from the beginning of the third movie where Megatron, Soundwave, and Starscream are there. So now looking at the figure close up, yeah, it's a pretty nice figure. Although one thing I didn't realize was how small he was. Here we have Siege Optimus, and as you can see, he's almost twice as tall as him. A lot of times I forget that Studio Series is a lot more accurately proportioned to each other. Like here we have Optimus, movie Optimus. This video is kind of going to be more of a double review of both of these characters. They're basically the same character, same figure, so I might as well just show them off both at the same time. One problem that Studio Series has, and this is kind of just how, kind of like the art style almost of Studio Series, is having very chunky, panely robot modes. Unfortunately, due to the way that Bayformers transform in the live action movies, they have a lot of very intricate parts that form drastically different parts of the car. So, as you can see here, tires have to come to the top shoulders, the chest has to split apart and become this, and then these parts of the car have to come from somewhere. I'm assuming that these are like fenders. All this random kibble on the arms, it makes it hard for Hasbro to accurately replicate a Bayformer. Kind of bringing Optimus Prime in as an example, this guy is a very intricate figure, and he's kind of complicated to transform. And comparing it to his like movie design, you could tell that like this version of Prime, he's like bulky but also pretty lean. But this guy, he is pretty chunky and pretty thick and wide in the torso area. And it's mainly just due to the fact that the way he transforms, his arms have to become the front and the upper shoulders and stuff. It's very complicated. And unfortunately, some design and aesthetics are sacrificed in order to make the figure better. And that's kind of just how it is for this Soundwave right here. It's just unfortunately, in order for him to be a nice figure, they have to make him weirdly chunky and panely and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't hate it. I don't mind the design. I actually appreciate how much effort they put into making it look as accurate as it does. And while yes, it does make him look weird, just weirdly chunky, that's kind of just how the movies were. They were like weird chunk kibble monsters that kind of ran around blowing each other up. Like they were not consistent human looking designs. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people kind of forget about with the movies. They always like criticize the designs of the robots for not being like anatomically correct. Like his shoulders are placed way far back. But you got to remember, this is not an Earth robot. This is an alien. This is a creature from space. They don't know what humans look like. They're just like got these figures and proportions that help them like fight and beat each other up. And it's merely just a coincidence that they look like humans. Because of that, I do actually appreciate the Bayverse designs a lot more than most people because they just feel a lot more realistic. That's something that the Bayverse movies do pretty good, helping it feel plausible, helping it feel like if there was an alien species to come to Earth, it would probably look like this. When I got this guy, I didn't realize how small he was, and I also didn't realize how small he was going to be in comparison to this guy. I thought they were literally going to be the exact same figure, just this one can't transform the same way this guy does. And also another thing I thought was that this one came first and then this one, but it was actually the other way around. This one came out first and then they stripped him of all his car parts and made this figure. And I believe this figure is fairly disliked by a lot of people. It's pretty cool design, but I can understand where they're coming from because he doesn't really transform. It's kind of more so of a official fan mode, I guess. This figure is pretty plain, pretty basic, but I do really love this figure because I have a lot of history with it. If you don't know, I made this small series on my channel called the Transformers Decepticon Show, and the two main characters of it were Soundwave and Rampage. Rampage was the main character, and Soundwave was kind of like the secondary main character. Yeah, so this is a figure I've actually grown to love and kind of become more of a personal liking for it, like just from personal experiences. And this figure is also really old, so a lot of joints are flimsy and floppy, and he's really not in good condition. A matter of fact, his head is literally just uh, it's barely even holding on. It's actually broken in the back, and also the pin that allows his head to fold back is also incredibly loose. So his head basically does not sit in place properly. These two figures might really not look that similar at all, but when you get them in hand and like you mess with them, you can really tell that they are the same figure. There are a lot of design parts elements that are just completely changed, but there also are parts that are like the exact same. For example, the shoulders are the exact same piece, the upper legs, and the back piece right here, and then also like some of the transforming elements inside are the exact same. And also just the way that they feel is also just very similar. This guy is slightly taller, but it's only because he's got like longer legs and just transforms differently. This guy, since he turns into a car, he's kind of limited. And this figure is basically this figure, but they literally stripped all the car pieces off and literally just threw them away. There are certain design elements changed, and I feel like most of the time it is for the worst. This figure feels a lot nicer than this one. I'll tell you what. It This one just transforms a lot nicer. It holds together a lot better. This one, like I said, it feels more like a fan mode in vehicle mode. When it comes to accuracy to the movies, these guys are kind of mixed bags. 51 Soundwave, he does a 10 out of 10 job of replicating the movie. He literally looks exactly how he looks in the movie. Head to toe. Like, this literally looks like it was ripped out of the movie. But when it comes to 62 Soundwave, it's not really that good. Mainly just because he never actually appears as a robot in Revenge of the Fallen. He's always a satellite in that movie, and he never lands on Earth, which is probably why they didn't include Ravage, because he's never seen with Ravage. He does like eject him at the beginning of the movie, but he's never directly seen with him. But I feel like it still would have been an interesting inclusion, because also there's really only one scene with Soundwave and Laserbeak together, and that's it. So these two figures do have one accessory each. 51 Soundwave having Laserbeak, and 62 Soundwave having just a generic kind of display stand in this blue color. Alright, so now into vehicle mode, and I'll just do the normal time lapse here, and since there's two of them, I'll just do both of them at the same time. So in vehicle mode, you can see that these two guys have very drastically different vehicle modes. And I also feel like at this point you're probably also questioning how many times I've said that they're the same figure, because they really don't look like it. Trust me, once you get them both in hand, you can feel that they are the same figure. Like, on the outside, they look nothing alike, but on the inside, they are the same figure. But anyways, talking about 51 Soundwave first. As you can see, he turns into this really cool Mercedes. I forgot the exact car name. Yeah, but this is the Mercedes he turns into in the movie, and it's pretty accurate. I saw some videos of people talking about how much detail has gone into it, and how, like, there's so many little details and stuff that really were not necessary, but were added, like, to make it look a million times nicer. Because in the movie, the car is kind of like a very important vehicle. Like, the main characters drive it around the entire movie, and then it turns out that it was actually the Decepticons in the car, or that the car was a Decepticon and was evil. Again, they never really do anything with it in the movie, but it's still really cool that they put so much detail into, like, the most important car of that movie. And as you can see, Laserbeak can kind of just connect on top, just like so. And it looks weird, but it was probably just done as like a weapon storage and stuff like that. I kind of wish he was able to, like, click onto the front, although that would mean that there would be, like, kind of an ugly gap right there, when up here it could kind of be hidden a little better and also kind of just look like part of the car. Besides that, it's a fantastic vehicle mode. Now, the other Soundwave, 62 Soundwave. Whole 11 figures later, and not that good. Like I said, this alt mode just feels like a fan-made alt mode, but it is official. This is the official transformation that you put him in for his vehicle mode. And technically, he does have a secondary vehicle mode, being you kind of just fold all this down and in, kind of something like this, to form like some sort of like space shuttle type thing. I don't remember exactly how you do it. I don't have the instructions with me, but it's basically like the exact same thing, but just a couple things folded around. But it's kind of supposed to look something like this. Although I will say, the whole kind of lack of transformation that you do, it is a pretty accurate figure. This is literally exactly how he looks in the movie. Unfortunately, I feel like a missed opportunity would be like the little tendrils that he has, little kind of tentacle things, that like wire type things that he uses to kind of like hack into like that American satellite or whatever it was in the movie. Yeah, like just little like rubbery bits that like stuck out, and then you could just basically clip them onto anyone on the figure, which would kind of make the little kind of bar things from this figure kind of utilize the second time in this figure. But he does have different arms in this, slightly different forearms. The rest of the upper arm is the same, but the forearms are different. It is a really cool looking vehicle mode, but feeling the way it transforms and just feeling it doesn't feel as good as it looks. And it also does not hold together. Like, these little pegs back here that hold the legs on, like, do not like to stay in place. And also the shoulders don't really click in very well. And yeah, the torso also does not clip in right. It could also just be half due to the fact that it's a very old figure. But yeah, not a lot stays together. It is a very flimsy figure. So if you remembered earlier, I mentioned my old Transformers Decepticon show series that I did on my channel. I might try and bring it back, because I did actually really enjoy making that series. It wasn't very popular on my channel, but I plan to kind of do more with it. A lot of the jokes I did in those videos were kind of forced and not really that funny, but yeah, I plan to bring it back at some point, and then maybe try and utilize this sound wave, like make an episode where this sound wave like turns into this one or something like that. I would be open to suggestions. If you have a suggestion for a video idea with these guys, I'd be glad to take it. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to see more of these guys, please make sure to let me know. But yeah, until next time, bye-bye.